Good evening, Belle Pointe community. Karl Clark. It's June 13th, Thursday evening. I wanted to reach out and talk with the community about a couple things. Hopefully, most of you are aware that there is a proposed amendment change to our bylaws, and there will be a vote on July 8th. I think this is extremely important. The bylaws is the contractual agreement that all of the co-owners have with one another and with the association in terms of what we can and can't do and how we're going to live our lives. And once that vote is approved, it'll be recorded at Wayne County Register of Deeds. It becomes legally binding. So I think it's critically important that everyone is aware of what's being proposed. There are several, in my opinion, significant changes being proposed, many of which I don't think is in the best interest of our community. I did go through and do my own analysis that I'm going to share with anyone that's interested in reading it. Obviously, again, I think everybody should read the proposed amendments for themselves and make their own determination. It is a lot of work. So I did go through and do it. And for anyone interested in getting my analysis, I will make that available. But at a high level, I think it's important that we minimize the power that the board has to run the association. That should be restricted for things that we all agree of how we want to live our lives, but the board shouldn't have the authority to arbitrarily make their own decisions or have it be one or two people to kind of decide how we live. So any amendments that move in that direction, I'm against. I think the other thing that I'm looking at is record keeping. All records should be available. Whether there's a vote, for example, this amendment, there should be full transparency on the vote. Elections, full transparency on elections. We want to make sure that co-owners are actually voting the way that the election results reflect, given the contractual bindingness of the election. So any amendment that gives the association the power to withhold records, I don't see any reason why we would want to do that. So I'm against that, and there are some provisions in that are going that direction. And the other thing that I think is important is finances. There's a provision to remove the annual cap on how much dues can be raised. I see no reason to remove that cap. I think it's at $5,000 or let's say $50 per home today. Maybe we want to raise that cap to maybe $75 or $100, but to eliminate the cap and to allow the association to raise the dues at the board's discretion, I think that's totally unacceptable. That's one of the amendments I propose that we strike down. The other amendment, there's a provision in there for no vehicles over 21 feet. And this might be a small matter, but I am aware we have a couple of co-owners that have medium-duty trucks, some of which extend beyond 21 feet. I see really no reason to implement that rule. Appears to be punitive towards those co-owners that have those medium-duty trucks. So maybe people are not aware that some trucks are over 21 feet, but I just kind of want to share that with the community. Many other amendments in there. Some people might find some of the amendments more important than the other. Again, I recommend that everybody take a look at it. Again, my view, high level, let's restrict the power given to the association and empower the people to kind of live our lives the way we want. One other amendment that I'm totally against is the association has the power, if it is perceived that someone is violating this association, maybe they painted their house the wrong color or they're parking on the grass or whatever, the association has the right to rectify those situations and bill the co-owner. Now, at a high level, maybe that's not too bad, but there should be some opportunity for the co-owner to defend themselves, and there should be an opportunity for a co-owner to raise a dispute if they feel the board is overstepping their authority. And so that part right there, I really have a problem with. My own personal experience, I was given a ticket for parking on the grass, although the bylaws don't actually prohibit parking on the grass. In fact, one of the proposed amendments is verbiage to prevent parking on the grass. I think the board understands that that provision is not there, but they don't want people parking on the grass, and they feel like, even regardless of what the bylaw says, that they're able to fine people. So I got a fine for $25. Not worth going to court over, hire an attorney, right? But if I don't pay, they stack up the fines, take me to court, that kind of thing. So in our community, it seems like we need to have some check and balance to prevent the board from being overzealous in their authority. So I do have some recommendations in terms of how we could do that within the bylaws. Again, just my view. Everyone entitled to their own. I know that other people have been fined, and they felt like, perhaps they were fined inappropriately. But the co-owners really have very little power. So that's one of the things I think we should focus on. The other point, just sharing with the community, I'm not aware of any kind of financial challenges that we have, but I did recently request a copy of the Financial Health of the Association, our 2023 full year, and 2024 finances to date. Haven't yet received a copy. Did receive some correspondence from our management company asking me to fill out several papers, and I'm being charged $1 a paper to get a copy of our records, which is fine. But hopefully the board will provide financial information, make this information electronically available. Anybody can get it without requiring people to go out to Farmington Hills or pay $1 per page, that kind of thing. But I just want to get the financial report, just to understand our health. I think that's really important before we go in for our next election, just to see how the board is managing our finances. And finally, just really hitting upon civility. I think there will be an election this year. Again, if I had maybe 7 or 8 co-owners come to my house, sharing their views on how they've been treated by the board. I won't get into the details on this video in terms of what has been shared with me, but I did agree to create this video. I did agree to share some of my background as a former member of the board. I've probably been on the board for maybe 15 years out of the 25 years that I've been here, and I have a lot of experience in terms of how we've run the association in the past, what the bylaws say, and what the Michigan Public Condo Act, what the laws is relative to our situation. So I did agree to try to pull the community together for those that are interested and kind of talk about our current state and decide what we want to do. So one of the reasons for this video is to make others aware. We will be walking the sub. There will be a QR code, a link to this video, and some of the documentation that I put together relative to our association. And it kind of talks about what's been happening, provide some information in terms of records that have been shared, etc. But we will make that available. Again, a link to this video, and we'll talk more about how we're going to come together as a community for those that are interested or for those that want to learn more about what's happening or get involved. Okay. Don't want to keep everybody too long. Again, Karl Clark. I'm in the corner of Lindsay and Amanda Drive, 44940 Lindsay Drive. If anybody wants to stop by and chat with me. Peace.